Yo, 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 here we are at my pool, living my best life, and I'm gonna give you my T100 Singapore race recap. Here I am, freshly back from Singapore, and gonna give you guys more of a post-race thoughts rather than a race recap. Now, a lot of you saw Triathlon Hacks or someone, they did an interview with me 5 minutes after I crossed the finish line. I received a lot of feedback on that, so that was fresh. And anyways, that was fresh. Those were my thoughts fresh. I'm glad it's now Saturday afternoon, so I've had almost a full week now to process this race and to really think about it. And I needed that full week actually to really think about everything. And so first off, like, it's weird. I didn't know when I finished in the hours after and the day after and the days after if I should be happy or if I should be upset. Like, when I first crossed the line, I was actually very happy. You saw photos. I was smiling, I was waving to the crowd. I felt I got the most out of myself. And we all start this sport only to get the most out of ourselves, right? Is that not why every single one of us starts triathlon? To push ourselves to limits, to get the most out of ourselves. And I feel I did that. I feel that compared to a year ago, I honestly think I've raced better here this year than I did a year ago. And yet a year ago I was second place, and this year I was 8th place. And so that's where comparison, I guess, comes in. Comparison. Is comparison good? Is comparison bad? Well, I'm a professional racing, and so like racing, if you don't want to compare yourself, don't go to the race line, because what is racing? It is quite literally trying to compare yourself with how you stack up to others, unless if you're doing a race with just yourself. And so it's that comparison, I guess, that makes me wonder if I should be happy or if I should be sad, or just how I should feel about my race. And so I'm gonna dive more into that in a sec, but quick 30-second race recap. I dive into the water, it's 30 degrees Celsius. Almost immediately, which I was prepared for, I realized I have been working hard in my swim, but that I was still not going to make that swim group. They're going out maybe, I reckon, you got to be able to do at least the first 400 meters in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. If not, you're not making that group. Now, I know based off my times, I'm not making that group. So instead, I opted for a great time trial, pacing myself well. I was very positive, enthusiastic in the swim. I thought I executed a great swim. I came out and I heard I was like 5.5 minutes down, which I did not expect to be that far down. Okay, big deal. Got on the bike. I rode 15 watts more than last year. I rode 344 average watts, which I thought was great execution on the bike, really looking after myself, staying cool. And then I started the run in about 13th or 14th place, and just said, let's do my best. And things started to come together lap after lap. And the final lap, I was able to pass, I believe, 4 people on the last lap to end up in 8th place. So that's the race recap, basically. Now let's continue with our analysis. So the swim. I'm staying exactly on my path in this swim because I do believe I'm onto something. I believe what I've been doing has been working, and I believe you got to give things some time. Now, I also think, like, am I ever going to swim with Vincent Louis? Like, no, I'm not ever going to swim with Vincent Louis. Like, I hate to say that. I hate to be someone who doesn't have belief, but like the level that Vincent Louis showed at the swim, that a lot of these guys showed at the swim, is so fast and so strong and just above my level. And the T100 is going to always make me look like a very bad swimmer. And it's unlikely I'll show progress even if I've made progress, because now it's gotten so much faster. And I do think the one thing I'm trying to do is swim more long course, because I think I've swam a lot of short course this winter and I've gotten way better at short course. But then I kind of slipping, because short course, you hit the wall, you come off, you power through 15, 20 strokes, and then you go again. While long course in open water, it requires a slightly different thing. So I'm trying to master that. Other than that, that's good. Now, yeah, I think, is our sport, like, how is it that I performed better and now I'm at 8th place and last year I was at 2nd place? Well, I think I think dynamics really affect a race. That's really what I learned. Like dynamics, course selection, these things really affect, certainly for someone like me, how I'll look at the end of the day on a comparison standpoint, right? And so obviously, like in the pot of athletes is bigger this year. It's more competitive because we had people come over from the ITU, from the Olympics. The top dogs from the Olympics are now in the T100, right? And these guys are legit. They are very fast. And frankly, it's great to see how good they are. And I'm gonna have work to do in the T100. Like I'm gonna have work to do, and like I have to recenter my baseline because I expect now, honest to God, I expect that I'm gonna be about 8th place in these T100 races, and it's gonna take a lot for me to get up on the podium. And I've spent a week having to refigure out my reality, because I'm a guy who, we all want to be on the podium, for God's sakes. We all want to be on the podium, but I'm a guy who's used to being on the podiums. I'm a guy who's used to winning over the last 5 years or more, even more than 5 years. And now on the T100, I have to recalibrate what I believe success is this year based off my experience in Singapore, because I did execute a great race for me, and I executed a race that was better than a year ago. And that's just how it's going to be. But it is because of the dynamics. And if you look at the dynamics, guys are wanting to push the swim. Vincent Louis is pushing the swim. He's bringing a few guys with him, 5 guys that can really swim. But then they're trying to get rid of Hayden Wild. So they're also motivated to work well on the bike together, and they're working very well together on the bike. And of course we have lead motos, and it's all fair, you know. It was a lot of wind, and that's not to complain. It's to say that's what I'm up against, and I'm okay to be up against that, and I'm gonna bring on that challenge, and I'm gonna do the best I can, you know. And so the T100, it's gonna harden me, and it's gonna make me a greater athlete at the end, where I can then use my strengths. And same with in the Ironman races, I do believe that's where we're gonna see my swim benefit. I do believe that's where we're gonna see my bike strength. And I guess one great thing is I'm like one of the biggest guys in the field, and I'm consistently showing now that I am running on par with the best, and sometimes even the best. And so I'm happy. I am happy with my performance, even though of course I would like it to comparatively look a bit better, you know. And I'm hungry for more. It's motivating, and I wanted the T100 to be motivating for me this year. And so frankly, I got exactly what I signed up for, right? I got exactly what I signed up for. And I do want to say, like, I had a great week, right? I did have a great week there in Singapore. I got to see some really cool sights. I got to have a fun time. I got to have some new experiences, and I got to challenge myself. And so now I'm hungry for St. George. I'm hungry, and I am willing to hurt myself to be the best I can at St. George. So that's my recap. Thank you guys all so much. And we are going to see you at the next one, where I hope to not be 8th place.